Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bront,
I'm Willem.
and we are Baldy and the Beast. Today, we are doing CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy at Night of Champions 2009. I'm really excited. This one took place at the Wachovia Center in
Oh,
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
y-
And there were 17,774 people in attendance and 267,000 pay-per-view buys. So the match that we're looking at today, like I said, was Punk and Jeff. So kind of the backstory behind this one is Hardy won the belt at Extreme Rules in a ladder match versus Edge, but right away CM Punk comes out, cashes in Money in the Bank, and takes the title. So Jeff got that pop from the crowd for winning the belt, and then immediately after lost it to CM Punk.
just
Uh,
huge heel heat on Punk right there. You're
and
oh,
the
oh
year before,
I think we're kind of losing you a bit there, Brock. You're you're kind of frozen and you're a robot. All right, I think you're coming back.
shit.
We good? Oh, we might have lost you there for a second. I think you're dying on me. Are we back? What you doing? So I guess I can kind of continue on with this. Again, well, Bront did a lot of the research on this. Around this time was when Punk was kind of rising in the ranks. If you go and you listen to a lot of his stuff in the past, like this is around the time where he didn't have a whole lot of, or he felt like he was gaining confidence in himself, but they didn't think that he was a great world heavyweight champion. This was, I think, one of, if not his first world heavyweight title runs. So it wasn't too long after this that he got into trouble with Taker backstage for not looking and dressing like a champion and all that type of stuff. You good, Bron?
I think so. I'm back.
Okay. I didn't explain all that much. I was just kind of going into what Punk's backstory was here, how he was still doing the straight edge gimmick and all that stuff.
Okay. Um. So I think where I was at, I'm not entirely sure. Sorry about those technical difficulties.
You're good.
It is episode 2.
Yeah.
But so he had a ladder match with Edge, immediately lost after, and then Jeff got a rematch at the Bash, which is a terrible name. Um, just call it Bash at the Beach, please. But so at their match, Punk had Hardy up on the shoulders. Hardy did a couple elbows, and Punk feigned an eye injury to where he was able to keep his title via DQ and didn't really win the match to keep his title. And that kind of sets up where we're at here with Jeff and Punk.
Okay. Yeah, around this time, I'm aware of how some of the storylines were, and I'm aware of some of the backstage stuff, but I'm not super up on all the minutia of the storylines and stuff, because yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that at this time I had actually been watching a lot more TNA than I was watching regular WWE.
Okay. See, at this time, I was watching all the weekly stuff with my dad still.
Yeah.
So this is the time I know a little bit more about because I actually watch the weekly TV.
Yeah.
Which I don't anymore except for AEW.
Well. Yeah.
But that's not the point.
Okay.
But for everybody out there, we are going to start the match. It is 22 hours, 29 minutes, and 44 seconds in. That's where WWE has the timestamp. While
2
we're
hours
looking that
29.
up. What?
Okay, there it is. Never mind. I was looking at the.
Oh, did you start yours?
No, I was looking at the. You said it was 2 hours 29. What was it?
44.
44.
But it's wherever WWE has a timestamp, though.
Yeah. No, I was looking at the end of the match. God, stop! I don't want you to play. It's just playing on its fucking own. Okay.
So, I'm glad I'm not the only one having technical difficulties today.
Yeah.
But the card, essentially, it started off with a promo from Edge, who had surgery, so he was out at this time. But then you have Legacy, which was Cody and Ted DiBiase Jr. versus Jericho. So that had to at least be good because Jericho was involved in it.
Yeah, but it was Jericho. Like, I don't know how good he was with Big Show at the time, because this was like prime fat Big Show. Like, I'm not saying that I'm like not fat, but I'm saying that this was like probably one of the worst times, like one of the down times in Big Show's career.
Yeah, he's had a couple times where he's got bigger, but I have no room to talk, and I totally understand.
Yep.
So, and to show partially how over this Punk Hardy feud is, next up we have Punk cut a promo essentially on Hardy, so they gave him pay-per-view time to cut a promo, which is not the most regular thing that they do.
Nope.
Dreamer versus Christian for ECW title.
Ooh, that could
probably
be good.
Sucked because it was WWE ECW.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I thought it could be good, and then I remembered what it was.
Yeah. Then we got the 6-pack challenge, I believe. Yeah, for the U.S. title. Looks like Kofi, MVP, Swagger, a couple other guys in there.
Yeah.
Had a women's match, but it was 2009, so it was Melina Michelle McCool. It wasn't women's wrestling of 2020 by any stretch of the imagination.
Although from what I've like seen, like Melina is actually like a halfway decent wrestler, and like the matches that she had with Michelle McCool were actually like not terrible. They weren't great based on today's standards, but they were good for the time.
Yes. I guess I should give them a little credit. For the time, they were two of the better workers. I mean, you obviously have Kong and Gail Kim out there who are leaps and bounds above those guys. But so next up, we have Cena, Triple H, and Orton, which I want to point out is not at the end of the card.
Holy shit.
I have no idea how a match with Cena, Triple H, and Orton for the title is not the main event.
Yeah, I'm like super surprised that this match is going on last on this card.
Yeah. Then we have a Divas title match. Mickie James and Maurice. That one's not as good.
Yeah, that one's not as good. Maurice was never good in the ring.
No. And lastly, we have Ziggler and Mysterio for the IC title. That could be good, but it was probably copy-paste Ziggler Mysterio because that's what they tend to do.
Well, this was early Ziggler. This is when he was like still like asshole heel. I mean, he's asshole heel now, but this was like when he was first starting out, so he had a little bit more energy to him. And I think this is around the time that was like the start of the of heel Vicky Guerrero.
Oh, heel Vicky Guerrero is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she is in AEW because she should just always have a mic.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff about her.
She's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but she can get heat just about as good as anybody.
She's one of the last like true heels that can get actual like shut the hell up heat.
Yep. But not go away heat, which is there's a very fine line to walk there.
Yep.
And she's done a really, really good job. So, didn't think I was going to be putting Vicky Guerrero over this podcast.
Yeah, no.
But there we go.
All right.
You ready to start the match?
Yep. Like you said.
All right.
You said it's starting at 29:44.
I think so, yes.
Okay, I'm going to start a few seconds early because mine's at 29:39 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start if you want to wait like 5 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, I need to turn my TV down just a little bit.
And this is back around the time, and everybody watching along will notice this immediately. They had custom pay-per-view sets.
Oh yeah, remember that sweet time?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say they were all the best or they were all perfect, but Yeah, it's so much better than that one, like, the same set for every show.
Yeah. If you noticed, this is the little shit that I noticed because I always notice little stupid details with stuff. If you noticed when Punk was coming out, he bumped the cameraman because like the
I
camera
did
shook.
notice that actually.
Yeah, the camera shook a little bit when he like right before he came out. And I'm gonna take a hot take on this one. I like this CM Punk entrance theme more than Cult of Personality. Um, I feel like it fits his character more, especially at this time. I understand that Cult of Personality is a more iconic entrance theme, and it's a much more iconic song just in general. But I feel like it works much better with Punk, especially at this time.
Listen, I side not because I disagree with you, but because now you're making me take a stance, and I do really like me some Kill Switch Engaged. And I'd probably pick that song as well. I think it really fits Punk because it was different. With the exception of Lita, they really didn't have anybody with,
With
scream lyrics.
right, I'm
And
trying to
then you
think if
jump right into Kill Switch Engaged.
and like me personally, I just so I'm kind of the opposite on that. I'm not a big fan of Killswitch Engage, but I like that song with Punk. And I'm gonna go on a limb, and I actually like No More Words more than like the standard like Jeff Hardy entrance music.
You're just trying to piss everybody off today,
I
aren't you?
know. Well, because like the Hardy music, it's so like early 2000s, and it's the same thing that they've had since then, and it's like I don't know if it's like royalty free or something like that, but I also remember at the same time, like in the early 2000s, when MTV was big, like with when I was in fucking middle school, like they had that Hardy entrance music as like background music for certain shit that they would play.
Did they really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah. I don't know if it was a royalty free thing or if it was like a music library that they shared between the two of them. But it's been around for so long. It's been so used that just having something different for Jeff Hardy, like I'm a gigantic Jeff Hardy mark. Like when I didn't first
Yeah.
start like getting into wrestling until like 04, 05, even after like Jeff was out of WWE, and I was still like a huge Jeff Hardy mark at that time.
Here's the thing with Jeff is like if you look at his career and all of his accolades, I think you always have to put into consideration like his personal stuff and
Yeah,
all the time he's taken off to deal with that and how all that toll that takes on a person, and he still achieved everything that Jeff's achieved, and he's a legend in the business.
right. It's if you look at like all the giant bumps that he's taken and all the insane shit that he's done, it's amazing he's not been as injured as he's not been more injured than he has been.
Yes, for sure. I think Jeff is in rare air when it comes to not giving a single flying fuck about his body
Yeah,
and just doing the dumbest, like, oh, you want me to jump off a 20-foot ladder? Fine.
yeah,
I think it's him, and for me personally, I think Darby Allin's in that category too,
yeah,
because oh, you want me to jump off a 15-foot ladder with a skateboard and land
yeah,
and break my ankle? Yeah,
yeah.
okay, I'll do it. Like, that takes a lot of balls, and these two guys have. It must be hard to sit down because Jeff will just jump off all the high things.
Right. The thing that I find interesting about Jeff Hardy just in general is that I don't think I've once heard him cut a fantastic promo. I don't have a single in like in all the stuff that I've watched over the years. I don't think I've got a single Jeff Hardy promo that I could pull out of my brain and be like, this is a great Jeff Hardy promo. But there's an air around him that people just kind of love.
As JR always said, the charismatic enigma. I don't like the nickname, but it's accurate.
No, So JR always called him the Strange Enigma. It was in TNA that he was the Charismatic Enigma.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. He was never in WWE. He was up until like recently, like when he came back around this most recent run. That's when they started referencing him as a Charismatic Enigma.
Huh.
When he came back post the first run in TNA, they would call him like the Strange Enigma, and I always thought that was really off-putting, especially as somebody who actually watched TNA at that time, knowing that he was coming out as the Charismatic Enigma.
That is better.
Yeah.
Than the Strange Enigma. I thought,
Yes.
for whatever reason, I thought there was a better one than Charismatic Enigma. But maybe I'm
No,
a
it's
crackhead.
there was a worse one that they used in WWE. Oh man,
I forget how good watching Punk is. Like, I'm being quiet.
I know
I'm trying to talk.
he's such a good heel, like such a good little shithead heel.
I don't know if he'd be good he has a lot of ring rust on him.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd actually be good anymore. Like, everybody's like, bring him back. Let's see him for one more match. Let's have him do another run. I don't want to see that. Like, he hasn't wrestled in what, going on 7 years. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Honestly, what I would want to see with Punk, and this is personal, I'd want to see him go to AEW as a manager, and they can tease and tease and tease that he's going to have a match and he's going to get in, but he
He
never
never
does.
does. I could.
He never does. He'll manage.
I could definitely see him as a manager. I feel like he'd be a great mouthpiece just for somebody. I have no idea who he'd manage though. Like, there's not a person that I can think like, oh yeah, that'd be a good person for Punk to manage. I was never
Yeah.
so
Even if I go to the Indies, I can't think of too many people.
yeah. A little side note on this match. I'm not a big fan of this ref because his counts are so fucking slow. Like they're so
You
like
notice all the littlest shit. I've
yeah.
watched WWE for the longest time, and I don't think I've ever noticed this guy has slow counts.
Yep.
But I'm also not as attentive as you.
Yeah, it's just it's there. There are a lot of things that I notice that are not to be noticed. Like the attention to detail, not to like, oh damn, that's not a movie you see often. He spat all over me. So I don't know when they did it, but I think I remember hearing somewhere that they started making Punk. Oh damn, that looked real rough. Oh, that looked so bad. Oh man.
These guys were just like, let's just kill each other.
Well, no,
Well,
I
kill
don't.
ourselves, I guess.
Like, I think Jeff was supposed to get out of the way of that, but the way Punk hit the ropes, like, I don't think he was
Yeah,
supposed to hit like that.
I noticed that second time around that he clipped the rope.
Yeah, there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was now. Oh, so if you notice, he's got his right elbow taped. There was a certain point where I'm lagging. I'm buffering a little bit.
Are you buffering?
Buffering. You're buffering too.
Oh, am I? I'll say I'm fine on my end.
Hold on.
Do you need me to pause?
No. Oh, but my bitrate's not showing up. That's weird. Okay. Hold on. Stream quality's good. No drop frames. Okay. I was just checking the stream just to make sure it wasn't like my internet dying. I'm back now, by the way.
What time are you at for the match?
Uh, 29, 41. 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I'm like 24 seconds in front of you.
Okay.
Do you want me to pause or anything?
I can just go to bumps, and I'm at 40, 16.
40, 16, you said. What's
19, 20,
right
21,
now?
24, 25, 27.
We're even.
Okay. But for certain tattoos that Punk had, they started making him cover them up. I think I remember hearing this somewhere, but because there's a connotation behind the spider web tattoo that he's got on his right elbow. I think it means something about like he was in jail or something about being imprisoned or something like that, and they started making him cover it up. But it's weird though
Really?
because Rhino has that same tattoo, but I don't ever remember them making him cover it up.
You know how Vince gets about stuff like that, though.
Yeah.
He only notices it. His counts are super slow. I hate you for pointing that out to me. Add that to the list of things you've ruined for me in wrestling.
Well, I mean, I think this ref was really only around at this time. I don't think he really persisted much past this era. It might just be me, but that particular bow and arrow hold, that doesn't look super impactful on my end.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Because like I've seen plenty of like a similar style move that like they can make it look better, and I don't know if that's on Punk or if it's on Jeff, but it doesn't. I guess the reason it doesn't look super impactful here is because it's a transition move. It's not him putting into like the Anaconda Vice or something like that.
Yeah. That one dude in the front row, Jeff Hardy is so over with him. Dude's got full face paint and the Hardy shirt, the whole nine.
He looks like he tried to combine like Jeff Hardy face paint with Vampiro face paint.
I was thinking Jeff Hardy and Sting.
It looks more Vampiro than Sting. Do we have a shout out to like the old World Tag Teams?
Custom set.
What? Oh,
I wouldn't say anything. Keep going about that.
I just want to say I love the like this era World Tag Team Championship design. Like not the SmackDown one, the Raw one. I think probably the one that Jericho had. I just like that design for a tag team title.
Wasn't the penny belts, were they? Because I hate the penny belts.
They've got. If you look in the background, if you look up at the stage and take your eyes away from the match for a second, they've got all the belt designs on the drapes.
Let's see when they do another shot towards the stage.
God, that was a good face buster right there.
It's weird to me that they're doing this show in Philly and not Extreme Rules, which happened just a couple of shows before.
Yeah.
Because Vince, because ECW was in Philly, loves to do hardcore in Philly.
Yeah. I appreciate that after it was Money in the Bank that was the Punk Cena match, right? The 5-star match.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. I want to say it was
11. It was 2011. I remember that much. I just can't remember if it was Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that after that match, Chicago kind of became the spiritual home to Money in the Bank.
Yeah. The one thing I think they did the most wrong with that storyline is they should have let Punk take it to ROH, New Japan, taking on a couple of indies.
100%.
Obviously, you're you have to win.
Oof.
You have to You can have good matches, but you have to win.
Right.
And just let him go around. You can build up relationships with indie guys. Now, obviously, Vince is never going to do that.
Oh,
but
absolutely not.
how cool would that have been?
Yeah. I always really
If you
liked Punk's rising knee strike into the corner. I always thought that was really nice looking.
Into the Bulldog.
Yeah. Oof. That face buster though.
Yeah, just kind of lift you up and move you forward a couple feet.
Yep. Jeff looks a little bit gassed. I'm buffering again.
None of those are the tag team belts.
No, it's on the other side. Oof. God, a swanton is tough to take in general, let alone miss.
Oh.
Oof. Oh, that's a nifty submission. It's like a dragon sleeper camel clutch. Like I could see that actually being someone's finisher.
Yeah. Zack Sabre Jr. probably does that move though.
Yeah.
He's probably got a ridiculous, amazing name for it though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm buffering again.
I like how we're taking turns on whose internet sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Where are you at in the match?
46-30.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Jeff, get up. Get up so you can go to sleep. Take that, go to sleep. Oof.
Wake up so you can go to sleep.
Yeah. That's not a... Well, I guess for the time. I was going to say, that's not a particularly energetic series of strikes. But then again, it was 2009 before they started doing a lot of that stuff. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, the swanton on the knees. Oof.
Always looks bad.
Oh, that looks so bad.
Always looks bad.
Yep.
Everybody that has to take that move, it just... Ugh.
Yep. Oof. Got him. Oh, you got him. Way to get caught, Jeff.
Oh.
Oh. And it's spots like that where you notice the slow count. You ain't gonna get him.
God, he was good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him work in years. I forgot how good he was.
Yep.
In an alternate universe, Punk stayed on the Indies and never went to the dub and had a long, amazing career.
Let's see. Punk is about AJ's age right now. Little, maybe like a year or two older, something like that.
I think so. I think he's in his 40s.
I could see him having like an AJ caliber career. I mean, I guess they've had like a very similar caliber career because they've both had year-long title reigns with the WWE title.
Yeah.
They've definitely had like a very similar career path. Punk's was just slightly before AJ's.
Yeah, more in the WWE.
At least coming to WWE. And like, yeah. Come on, Jeff.
Jeff's gonna do it.
Go get him. Oh.
Jeff
there we
with
go.
The crouton for the win.
Yep. Anybody want a crouton?
Anybody want to CM Punk? I don't know if he wanted a crouton, but he got one.
CM Punk, you want a crouton?
One of my favorite things of all time is Jeff talking about being like, "Oh no, when I was protect my opponent, and
Yeah.
now I don't give a
It's
shit.
like, I used
Just
to
give
do
me
it.
croutons."
Now it's like, all right, you're taking a crouton. There he is. God, it's just like,
He's also really good.
yeah, like especially around this time, I love like this run of Jeff Hardy, just because like you can feel like watching this like something like this. It definitely like gives me like a little shiver down my spine, just because they finally like they had Vince finally had the trust in to give Jeff something like this.
After Jeff killed himself for a decade.
Yeah, it really is sad. Well, okay, I can't say it's sad. I want to say that it really is sad that he never saw in Matt what he saw in Jeff. But at the same time, like Matt really didn't do anything to separate himself. He never really did anything at this time to put himself in the position that Jeff would have, because he has a good amount of natural charisma, but he doesn't have like the natural I want to say he doesn't have the natural like crowd appeal.
Matt also doesn't have what Jeff has.
Right,
That's no slight on Matt.
right.
Matt he's one of a kind, he's a legend.
Yeah.
But Jeff had this like very raw connection with the crowd.
Right.
And that's not anything other than just the way things happened. It's not like Matt's fault they didn't have that.
Right.
But Matt also really he's way more fit for the current time period.
Yeah. There's
How he
something
thinks.
there's something about Jeff Hardy and just the way that he is naturally that's very like he has a very organic connection to the crowd.
And if you look, he was doing Matt Fax in like early 2000. You cannot convince me that Matt Fax wouldn't get over super hard today.
Matt Fax, dude, Matt Fax would be a gigantic meme right now.
Yep, and essentially Matt Fax is what they do for Hangman's entrance on AEW.
It's so good. Hangman's entrance. Did you see back at back when the pandemic started? Hold on, let me. Oh, hold on. I got some stuff going on. Okay, we're good. Did you see like back when the pandemic started? The Hangman stays at home video thing that he did.
Where he was in the woods and stuff.
Well, no, he did like a video package where it was not even a video package. He like recut the AEW opening, like the intro thing, and kept like all the pyro and the AEW like intro music, but it was just him hanging out at home and like playing his Switch and drinking a little bit, and like at the end of it where it normally pops up with like the AEW logo, it popped up with Hangman Page's logo and it says Hangman stay the fuck at home.
I don't think I've seen that, but I feel like I should.
If I find it, I'll send it to you. But that was really good. Okay, so anyway, thoughts on this match, like how this progressed into like future matches and all that stuff.
I want to watch more CM Punk matches.
Yes.
Good thing we're watching 2 more.
Yep.
So I gotta be totally honest. I don't like the way WWE was booking this, and it wasn't super apparent on the commentary, but on like the way they were booking it in the hype package was like the idea of straight edge lifestyle versus Jeff Hardy's live in the moment.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Jeff, at this time, I don't know how bad his addiction issues were in 2009.
Yeah.
But I know that the Victory Road incident was only like 18 months after this.
Right.
So I can't assume he was in a good place.
Not even a full 2 years.
Yeah. So I can't assume he was in a very good place because the Victory Road incident was
right.
There's not too many things in wrestling that you can say the blank incident. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yep.
And it's the Mass Transit incident,
Yep.
the Victory Road incident. I can think of off the top of my head. So,
I just realized, and this has nothing to do with the match. I just realized that I forgot to change the background image on the stream. So it's
I
still,
noticed that about 45 seconds ago.
yeah, I forgot to change the background image, and I'm gonna, just kind of leave that how it is. Um, for now, I'll change it if I remember to next week. Today was a very long day for me. But yeah, this was right around the like kind of like just before like the peak of Jeff's drug problems. Um,
At least publicly.
at least publicly, yes. But I'm not a big fan of how they built this either, because the the idea that I'm not a big fan of like straight edge people. I don't have an issue with them, but people that are like overly straight edge, like the people that are just assholes
Preachy.
about it, yeah, preachy about it. I'm not a big fan of them. Which that was Punk's gimmick at the time. He was the preachy straight edge guy. He
But he
wasn't
was also the heel.
right. That was the thing. He was the heel, so he was trying to be that. Was this before Straight Edge Society? I think it
You're making me
was.
remember when Straight Edge Society was. I think this was pre, because I don't think his hair ever got that long after.
No, because Straight Edge Society, he teamed with Luke Gallows, and then
Serena Deeb.
Serena Deeb, and then Joey Mercury came along, and then he lost. That's when he lost the hair versus mask match against Ray, and he had to shave his head, and then he started to wear a CM Punk mask for a little while until his hair grew back out.
I think it's funny that I remember Serena Deeb, but I don't remember Joey Mercury being
Yeah,
a part of that group.
yeah. It was like kind of late into the whole thing. Yeah, I that was a good gimmick, and it definitely worked for who Punk was. But I feel like it did not do a good job. It did a kind of a disservice um, to Jeff Hardy, and to people struggling with issues like that.
Yeah,
Be-
you can 100% do like a drinking angle or a drinking gimmick.
Mhm.
Not to bring up AEW, but the Hangman drinking gimmick has been perfectly fine because they never like. But when you go into addiction
Right.
and oh, Jeff Hardy's personal issues, like yes, that can be good for wrestling. I
Yep.
don't personally like it for angles. Same
No.
with when they did the Hawk angle in the 90s,
Uh,
where
I'm not familiar with that one.
Hawk from Legion of Doom,
Oh,
they did
Hawk.
a
I thought
big.
you said Hulk, and I was like,
Oh
what?
no,
There was a
Hogan would
Hulk. There
never
was a
let
Hulk
anything
Hogan
negative get
drug
over on
angle.
him. I wish.
I'm sure there was probably something like buried deep in WCW with Hulk Hogan and drugs. Right?
I do not want to start any feuds with Hulk Hogan. However, I do refer 80s promos as coked up promos,
Yeah.
and Hulk Hogan did cut the best coked up promos, and that's all I'm going to say on the subject.
Yeah. Um, but I definitely do feel like this this feud kind of did a disservice to Jeff Hardy in that he was the face in this, and they were promoting and like the living free lifestyle and the type of lifestyle that Jeff Hardy had, and it's not a healthy lifestyle to take, and it very evidently made itself clear a year or two down the line, and it's
Yeah.
still very evidently making itself clear now. But it is what it is for the time. And this match did lead into a great series of matches, not only between Punk and Jeff, but this also led into the great, like, the next good Jeff versus Matt promo, Jeff versus Matt series of matches, because that one ended with a fantastic I Quit match and but it also included a weird that
I don't think
series.
that was after this though, because Jeff left after this for TNA.
I don't remember when that was.
This was the end of, I think that was 08, around WrestleMania 25. Because I
25
remember
was
it pissed me off. They kept calling it the 25th anniversary. It was the one in Dallas.
25 was this year. 25 was 09, when the year that we watched this.
Let me check.
It might have been the year previous to this. I'm not entirely sure. All I remember was that was a solid feud, and it actually did a good job of incorporating real life events in both Matt and Jeff's life into a feud, and it worked.
Yeah, and you can 100% do that, but you can screw it up too. And this time I don't like how they did it.
Yeah. So we had a couple other things that you wanted to talk about. Go ahead. I can't remember what they were, so go ahead and pull them off your spreadsheet.
I want to talk about Pat McAfee.
Okay.
And how some people are not going to like it because he is just a sports talk show host. But I watch Pat McAfee, so damn it, I'm in. 100%. I think he couldn't cut a promo. I think he can talk. Worst case scenario, you're going to get some good segments out of him. And I really just want to see him fucking punt Adam Cole in the face because he was an NFL punter.
Yeah. So I had an interesting thought today. I was at work. I got up and I went to the bathroom and I was thinking, I don't think celebrity matches have to be bad. And I feel like this is a situation where it could very much be good, especially because Pat McAfee is bigger than Adam Cole physically. Like, he's a larger person.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody thinks these celebrity matches are going to be shit because the guy that's in the celebrity in the match can't work. But Pat McAfee, he's a former NFL punter, and he's got some cardio to him, so he can actually go for a little bit of time. I'm not saying that I want to see a wrestling match. I want to see a fight. I want to see a no disqualification, street fight style match where Pat McAfee just does nothing but find weapons and beat the hell out of Adam Cole.
I wouldn't be against that.
And then punt him in the head. While Adam Cole is still, trying to, because he's the wrestler and it's a wrestling match, he tries to do the wrestling things. And that's where celebrities can kind of shine in this type of situation, because they don't naturally take bumps. So you don't have to have a lot of bumps. You just have to have the big bump or the couple of big bumps that finish the match.
Yeah.
So
now here's a couple things I know, because I do happen to watch Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that he got drunk once and bought a wrestling ring. And it is on his house in a big barn. He does have a set up wrestling ring on his own property. So that opens the door to, maybe is he being trained on his own property? Because no one would ever know.
Right. I do think I remember hearing somewhere a couple of years back that he was being trained. He was undergoing some form of wrestling training. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember how far back this was, but at the same time, he doesn't need to be spectacular in the ring. They could just make this a fight.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I think there's a chance he's better than expected, and he's better than what we see most celebrities doing,
right?
Because he does have that, he has a ring.
Right.
Who has a ring?
I think so in a similar on a similar note to Pat McAfee potentially getting in the wrestling ring, at Fyter Fest last year when they had the Michael Nakazawa versus Alex Jabali match, that was a match that was surprisingly good for what it was, because Jabali not trained in anything, but he did a better job at doing that than you would expect out of any other celebrity.
He's still a jabroni.
Well, he is, yes. I'm not saying that he's not a jabroni. I'm just saying that he fucking.
I know him as Alex Jabroni.
Yeah, he did a better job in that situation than than most other celebrities he would have put in there.
Not gonna argue there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an okay match. He's still a jabroni.
Not that Alex Trebali is particularly a celebrity. He's just for the type of show that it was. He was like the type of celebrity that could be on that show.
Yeah, he made sense.
Yeah.
Now, the one last thing I wanted to talk about, it's kind of in line with what we did today. It is a Hardy brother. Last night on AEW, Matt Hardy got his head fucking taken off by a chair.
So I missed this. Like I saw what happened before this. Like I saw the promo and I saw the kind of like the start of the fight where Sammy Guevara came out from under the ring and started to attack him. And I popped a little bit for when he popped up and Matt into the camera said, "Sammy, I knew you'd come."
Without even turning around, yeah.
Without even turning around, like he knew he was there. I popped a little bit for that, and then I watched up to the point where he like put Sammy through a table, and I kind of stopped paying attention after that one.
That was right the point you should have started paying attention.
Why?
Well, because that was when Matt set up the table and then Sammy put him through the table and threw a chair at him.
I saw like a screenshot of the aftermath where he just looks like he was literally a crimson mask.
Yeah, blood everywhere.
Yeah.
It was 13 stitches, I heard.
Eesh.
In the head.
Yeah, that's hard way.
Yeah, I would now. 13 stitches is so many.
Yeah.
And, you know, that spot is normally safe because he just threw a chair. And that's generally safer than taking, like, an actual chair shot.
Right.
But sometimes, like, I think the leg just caught him right, and it sucks. And I'm really glad I'm not Matt Hardy. But it looked really good for TV.
Right.
And they're probably going to spin this into something cool.
Right.
So fingers crossed. I mean, not that I'm saying I'm glad it happened, but
right.
I think Matt Hardy will make the best out of it.
So kind of going back on what we were talking about a little bit ago about how Jeff kind of always had like a natural connection to the crowd, and Matt always had to keep trying reinventing his character to try and get over. I think Matt Hardy's probably in the best position of his whole career. Not necessarily in a spot where he could... I don't ever want to see Matt Hardy right now as world champion, because I don't think he could fit that role. He's not...
It would take a special storyline.
It would take a very, very special, specific storyline to put Matt Hardy as champion. But as far as his character work goes, as far as his ring work, he's actually doing fairly good ring work compared to like 2 years ago where you could see some of his matches and he couldn't move.
Yeah.
He's still doing pretty good ring work. He's a great character. And I like the idea that he's just... he's a million characters.
He's schizophrenic, essentially.
Right. I like the character that's a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of goes back to Mick Foley being, you know, Mick Foley and Cactus Jack and Dude Love and Mankind all at the same time. And depending on the day, you don't know who you're going to get. Or if you're in reference to Royal Rumble 98, you get all of them.
I also like how he would always bring it out, like, you knew you were boned when Cactus Jack came out. Like and I think
when we're bringing Cactus Jack to the party, you know shit's going down.
Yeah, and I feel like Damascus with Broken Matt,
yeah,
if done the right way, could be in the same vein of where it's like he brought out Damascus, he's going to beat the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm. The only problem that I have, I love the Broken Matt gimmick. I think it's super creative. I think it's hilarious when it needs to be. I feel like it brings a new type of match to wrestling that hasn't been involved before. Like without the final deletion and without the ultimate deletion, there would be no Boneyard match. There would be none of the cinematic matches that we have now.
Yeah.
For better or
for
for
Stadium Stampede.
The Stadium Stampede, for better or for worse. Like the Swamp match,
Oh,
swamp butt match, whatever the fuck.
that was not a good
It was
match.
not a good match, but I mean, you win some, you lose some. But
Yeah,
without Matt Hardy and like the things that he brought to the table and like the kind of way that he led Jeremy Borash into being like the creative director for a lot of this stuff, we wouldn't have any of that now if it weren't for Broken Matt.
yeah,
And the
and it kind
only
of
the only issue that I have with Broken Matt and Damascus in the same regard is that he can come off as really silly. And that's not something you want out of that type of character.
yeah.
Um, Especially if you want him to be taken, number one, you want him to be taken seriously. And number two, you want to potentially build a storyline where he could be in the main event scene going for the world title or a title in general. And when you have a silly character, it kind of leads to that title being seen as the silly title. And you don't want that.
Yeah, but I also don't think anybody's gonna put the belt on Broken Matt.
No.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's like, not trying to throw shots, but like in WWE when they put the belt on the Fiend, wait, and they shouldn't have. He should have been a character that didn't even give two shits about the belt. I
He,
kind of feel like Damascus and Broken Matt could be in that same vein where like he doesn't even care about the belt.
well, okay. So my thoughts on the Fiend are that they 100% could have given him the belt as long as it fit the story. There's a perfect story that fits any of these situations. That fits Broken Matt as Broken Matt getting the belt. There's a perfect story that fits the Fiend getting the belt. And all of them involve them taking like a personal interest in whoever the champion is, regardless of like who they are. Them taking a personal interest in the champion and trying to take away the one thing that sets them as who they are. They don't care about the belt. They care about destroying the person. And you
Taking it
destroy
away.
the person by taking the belt away from them.
I like that would be a cool storyline. But then how are you going to get around the Fiend?
You went too far away from your mic. I missed the whole last part of your set.
How would you get around the Fiend losing it eventually though? Because that would be that's the problem I have with the Fiend winning the belt in the first place. Is if he wins the belt, he then has to lose the belt,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just a problem that you don't have to create.
So if the Fiend is seen as a supernatural being, all you need to do is find the source of the supernatural powers.
But then once you do that, then it's kind of like that's a button you can only push once.
Right, it's a button you can only push once, and a character like the Fiend is only going to last so long. You can't tell me that the Fiend is going to last 6, 7, 8 years. A gimmick
The Fiend
like
in
that.
its current iteration, no. But
No.
if allowed to breathe correctly and go away for a while,
So
potentially.
so if something like in with a character like Bray Wyatt, in a similar regard, Matt Hardy, if the Fiend wins the title, like the Fiend is champion, but Bray Wyatt is still a person, Bray Wyatt can lose the power to become the Fiend. And if he can no longer become the Fiend, he becomes vulnerable and he can lose the title. Same thing with Matt Hardy. If Damascus wins the title, Matt Hardy is still a person. You can take away Damascus from Matt Hardy, and thus Matt Hardy becomes vulnerable and can lose the title. Because they are
You're selling me.
because they're still a character in and of themselves. Because Bray Wyatt, like he's got the Fiend, he's got Firefly Funhouse guy, he's got Swamp Cult Leader. If in some way, shape, or form they seal off the Fiend from being able to become part of Bray Wyatt can still be beaten. Because we've seen a million times where Bray Wyatt's gotten into a feud and Bray Wyatt as cult leader has lost a title. So if the Fiend is the thing that's keeping him with his title, separating the Fiend from Bray is how you get the title off of Bray and thus the title off the Fiend while keeping the Fiend strong as a character.
And then if you really want to, I just thought of this. you could do like a longer storyline with it where he loses the Fiend,
Mhm.
and then like a year or two later he has like he's going back for the belt
Yeah.
again, and at the end of the match, lights go down. It's been like at least 2 years by
Yeah.
this point, and the lights come back up, and it's the Fiend in the middle of the ring. Could you imagine that pop?
Well, and that's how
And
like
that's why he wins the title again.
right, like the lights go out and the Fiend comes back, and that's how he wins it. And then like that's how you develop these type of stories, because like so the Fiend goes away, and people are like, or the Fiend comes back, like something happens, the Fiend is separated from Bray Wyatt, and they bring him back, or they send him away, and there's like some seal, some mythical weird wrestling mumbo jumbo that they can do to send the Fiend away, to get him away from Bray Wyatt and make it so that he can no longer become the Fiend. Well, if Bray Wyatt's a smart person, he's going to find a way to bring the Fiend back, and he's going to find a way to make it so that the Fiend is no longer affected by the thing that sent him away in the first place. So if you're a smart person, you're going to find everybody's got weaknesses. And the thing is, you have to find a way to counteract your weaknesses. So when they find the weakness to the Fiend, and Bray eventually gets the Fiend back, it's because he found a way to counteract that weakness. And it's a repeating cycle. That's how you write that type of stuff.
I just want good wrestling. That's all I really want.
Yeah.
That would be good. That
Yeah.
storyline would be good. I would love to watch it. I like, but I just want it to be good.
Right. The big problem that I have with Bray Wyatt in general is that he's a great character. He's not like spectacular in the ring.
No, but
Everybody
that's never stopped any of the other major stars.
No, but everybody assumes that because Bray Wyatt as a character is fantastic, that he can go in the ring. And that's not the case. And that's also like that doesn't mean that that's not a bad thing for Bray Wyatt. It's just one of his weaknesses.
Yeah.
And it's not stopped them in the past from putting over somebody who doesn't have the ring work to go with where they're at. Like just look at Jinder Mahal.
And wrestling's one of the few things where you can be really good at wrestling, really successful,
Mm-hmm.
and suck at wrestling.
Yeah. Like you can be a great worker but a shitty wrestler.
Yeah.
And there are a ton of examples of that. None that come to mind at the moment because I have a cheese brain, but you know.
Ultimate Warrior.
I don't know if I'd put Ultimate Warrior on that list because Warrior
He's not a good wrestler.
No, he's not a good wrestler. I don't think he's a good pro wrestler though either, because like all of his promos are just nonsense.
I'm sorry. I would like to defend the flag of Brian Zane right here.
Okay.
Brian Zane had a list a couple years ago called "Awesomely Bad Promos."
Okay.
He ranked the top 16, and number 1 was just every promo that the Ultimate Warrior has ever cut, because they're not bad promos; they're awesomely bad promos. And his promos are they're like, I agree. Are they like traditionally good? No. But I'm entertained from the second he opens his mouth to the second he does that last incoherent period at the end. It's all fantastic in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you he's Ric Flair, because he's not. He's not
absolutely
Jake.
not.
But what he does is entertaining.
Yeah. I think that somebody like Orange Cassidy is kind of in the same vein as Ultimate Warrior. Not in that he can't wrestle, in that he can't like he's kind of like the flip side of that. Like where Ultimate Warrior can be entertaining in his promos, Orange Cassidy is super entertaining in his ring work. But I've never really been sold, like, because he doesn't talk all that much. I enjoyed last night, for the sake of this video, I enjoyed last night's segment, the debate.
Which was the debate.
I thought it was a good promo, but it wasn't mind blowing. It wasn't something that I can be like, that's a fantastic promo. That's how you do a promo. Because I saw the 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 part in the promo and the part in the debate where they asked the question about global warming.
Hilarious.
It was funny. You could see it coming from a mile away. You knew the way, like if you know anything about writing that type of stuff, you know that anything wrestling related, Chris Jericho is going to answer, and he's going to mop the floor with Orange Cassidy. But the second that he brings up a topic that is not wrestling related, Orange Cassidy is just going to, the funny thing to write in there is Orange Cassidy is going to lay out a well thought out, well researched answer, and it's the first thing he's said in weeks.
I was still super entertained.
I was entertained by it as well.
I popped so hard when he started giving a genuine global warming answer. Right. But at the end, kind of against what you were saying, when he got to the end, it was a wrestling question.
He
answered it really well.
Right. It was a solid promo, but at the same time, I've never, in the same vein as Jeff Hardy, I've not seen an Orange Cassidy promo that's made me think that's a good promo.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be an Orange stan, but I think we also need to remember that he doesn't cut promos. That's his gimmick.
That's his gimmick, is that
he doesn't cut promos. I think we need to be a little lenient on why he may not be the best talker. That might be why it's his gimmick. Maybe it's the perfect gimmick. I don't know.
I will say, though, that Orange Cassidy is the smartest man in professional wrestling. Hands down.
Right now, yep, he does the littlest amount of work for the most amount of money out of everyone in wrestling.
Yep. Moves per dollar, he's the king.
Yep. Now, that'll start to go down, because when you look at his match, when he wrestled Pac, and actually, they had a good match, and when he wrestled Jericho, but they're kind of keeping those actual matches where he's wrestling at a minimum.
Right.
Lucky for him.
Yeah. They know what makes money. They know what's going to make that money, and it's Orange Cassidy being Orange Cassidy. People pop for Orange Cassidy doing nothing or doing the bare minimum. And the money, the big wow moment is when you can show that he can work. He actually knows what he's doing.
Yep.
And he's not just some schmuck that can't do a drop kick and he can't do a suplex and he doesn't know how to lock up. Granted, I don't know how to lock up and I don't know how to do a drop kick. And I ripped my pants once trying to do a super kick. At work. I ripped my fucking work pants that were khakis.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fuck, you made me forget what I was going to say about Orange. I was going to say something positive about Orange, but I forget what it was. All right, well, we are getting a little long in the tooth here.
Yeah, we're kind of
talking about
Orange. A little bit.
So I think this is where we're going to bid you all adieu. I hope everybody has a great day. We do thank you for watching. If you do enjoy what we're doing, we are on Twitch at Baldy and the Beast. We have a Twitter. I think that's Baldy and the Beast. Facebook, Baldy and the Beast. We're on all these platforms. We're doing our best, and we appreciate every follow, anything that you feel compelled to do. We appreciate it.
We appreciate all of it. Thank you so much.
Yep. And next time we will be reviewing a more modern match from NXT TakeOver. I believe it was Toronto.
Yep.
It will be DIY versus The Revival. I'm very excited for that.
I know. I'm so pumped for that. Now,
very, very good.
One thing about something I'll say about our schedule: we're streaming Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. Sundays is going to be kind of. Do you want to do this match on Sundays, or do you just kind of want to have a chill hangout stream where you play a game or something? Because we can do this match on Sunday. So that's up to you.
I like the idea of sticking to the original idea of just doing a fun stream on Sundays, at least for now.
Okay. So this coming Sunday is just going to be kind of a hanging out stream. Come in, hang out. Probably going to be playing something on stream. Don't know what yet. But the match that we're going to be watching, DIY versus The Revival, that will be this coming Tuesday. Again, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. We good?
Yep. All right. I agree with you. All the words you're saying are words that I agree with.
Cool beans. All right. We'll see everybody next time. Thank you so much for coming out. Bye.
Bye.